Hello again. The police in London are an absolute disgrace and clearly working for the enemies of our nation. Last week, they imposed a legal order which prevented a march by the United Kingdom Independence Party through Whitechapel in East London. The grounds for this were that the police feared that such a march by British men and women carrying Union Jacks might result in serious disorder. In the description to this video, I give a link to news of this. The march was planned for yesterday, that's say October the 25th. UKIP obeyed the order. Instead of them marching through Tower Hamlets, the streets of Tower Hamlets were taken over by gangs of masked young men, all dressed in black, who carried Bangladeshi and Palestinian flags. They chanted Allahu Akbar, shouted down with Zionist scum, and set off smoke bombs, and then decided they would all kneel down and pray in the middle of a main road. These menacing gangs may be seen in the thumbnail to this video, and in the description I give a link to a clip of film of what was going on yesterday. To any objective observer, this did indeed look like the serious disorder which the police were so anxious to avoid. Masked men sitting in the road and blocking the traffic, smoke bombs and flares, aggressive chanting, and even an attempt to force their way into the town hall. What do you suppose the police did about this? Well, nothing at all, for the simple reason that they were not even there. Having declared their intention to prevent serious disorder, the police simply withdrew entirely from the streets and allowed the Islamists to do as they pleased. You will see if you look at film taken in the area yesterday that no police officers at all are present, although they must have known what was going on. There are 2 points which strike one immediately about this affair. The first is very obvious. What do viewers suppose would have happened in Tower Hamlets yesterday if large groups of young white British men with their faces masked and carrying flags bearing the cross of St. George had begun setting off flares and smoke bombs and then sat down in the middle of the main road? Do you think that the police would have allowed it and simply withdrawn from the area and left the streets in control of those men? I think we all know the answer to that one. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item from September the 25th, just a month ago. It is headed Epping Forest, Epping protester fined for not removing a balaclava. At a protest about asylum seekers in Epping, a man wearing a balaclava helmet was arrested and prosecuted for concealing his face. Now look again at the images from Tower Hamlets yesterday. They're not only wearing balaclavas, but also masks, and all have the hoods of their anoraks up so that nobody can see their faces. This is apparently allowed for Islamists, but forbidden for white British people at a protest. The second point to consider is quite a serious one. Every single one of those men was, of course, breaking the law anyway, even without wearing masks. They were gathered together for a political purpose. The Palestinian flags and chants of Down with Zionists is evidence of that. The fact that all were dressed in black trousers and black anoraks with black masks makes it clear that they had adopted a uniform. They had agreed beforehand this was to be their uniform. Under the Public Order Act, which I give a link, I quote, "Any person who in any public place or at any public meeting wears uniform signifying his association with any political organisation or with the promotion of any political object shall be guilty of an offence." I hope that this is clear enough. Yesterday, in part of London where the police had already said they were worried about serious disorder, large groups of people were clearly breaking the law and creating disorder by blocking roads and setting off smoke bombs and attempting to force their way into a building. Not only did the police not prevent them, but they were not even present, having previously agreed that they would surrender control of the streets to what was in effect an Islamist militia. Anybody who fails to see this must be deaf, dumb, and blind. Anybody who thinks it is okay is a fifth columnist and a traitor to Britain.